I put off making this video for a little while, but it's something that's been on my mind since Google announced the Google AI search and how that's going to basically replace search as we know it. Now, obviously, I talked about the implications about this in a previous video, but this is the first time in as long as I can remember when it's come to the internet and technology that I've been concerned. Now, I'm a techno joy person. I love technology. I love seeing all the cool things you can do when new plugins and tools and all those kinds of things come out, and new technology with cameras and phones and all those kinds of good things. I love technology. I'm not scared of AI. I think AI is one of those things that, in general, yes, we're seeing it have a massive impact upon all of our industries, whether it's creative industries, photography, web design, all those kinds of things. They are being affected. We'd be idiots to think any different. But I think with things like that, for every one thing that has a potential negative effect, we can find a positive way. There are people that are going to look at AI and find ways to use this to improve their career, to have new opportunities and so much more. So I'm not someone that's anti-AI at all. What I am anti, though, is what Google is doing with their AI search. Now, before I sort of ramble on, and this is basically just a talking head video where I'm just going to talk about what I think, but as always, I want a conversation with you. If you've got your thoughts on any point that I raise here, or if you've got points on the whole topic, drop a comment down below because I would love to get that conversation started and we can discuss this till the cows come home. I love different opinions and I want my mind to be changed. So if you have an opinion, you think what I'm saying is wrong, please do put your opinions down below. Keep it polite, but I'd love to know. So why exactly am I so bothered by it? Well, the simple fact is we've used the internet in the same fundamental way since pretty much the internet became something that every household could potentially get. Go back to the days of dial-up. Yes, I am that old. I can remember dial-up and I can remember my first time on the internet. But with the fact that AI search with Google, and whether we like it or not, Google is still the biggest search engine on the planet. I've stopped using it fundamentally. I've moved over to Brave and using Brave or DuckDuckGo because I prefer what results I get there. I hate the whole AI results thing and all the advertising, all the crap that goes with it. But the fact that they're now introducing AI results, AI search results as the primary thing, and therefore removing or reducing the ability to actually find out where the information's come from, go and visit the site. This is killing traffic. Now, you've only got to be in any online-based industry to see what's being said, the effects it's having. If you look on X or Twitter, there are some very prevalent plugin creators and SaaS creators and things. Katie Heath is a good one. She's very open about her online development, moving into Shopify with WordPress plugins and so on. She posted up yesterday the massive impact that it's actually having upon her and her business. And they're not the only one. I've talked to other people that I've collaborated with and I work with and keep in contact with, developers, and they're all seeing the same result. Why? I think there's two things going on here. One, obviously AI search is reducing the amount of traffic that they're actually getting. So even if they're showing up in search engine results, their organic search results are moving up. It's not translating into sales. So we're seeing an impact based upon the search side of things. Search traffic is down. I've noticed this on the content that I put out there because obviously AI is scraping the content I put out there and is creating these AI search results, which are kind of a summary that answers a question, whereas my tutorial might go over that and other things. That's basically taking traffic away from it. The second thing, I think, is that obviously AI itself, more people are relying less on plugins and tools and services, and they're creating their own, for better or for worse. You know, we know that there are positives and negatives doing this, but that's also having an impact. But for me, the biggest problem here, the biggest thing that I'm really concerned about is, are we going to see the internet as we know it and websites as we know them fundamentally dying out? Now, I talked about the dead internet theory in the past, and I've got a little mini documentary coming out on this, hopefully soon. It's still being edited. But the basic concept of it is AI basically feeding AI. In other words, AI summarizes content from someone's website. We see that starting to take prevalence unless people create websites and put content on the internet. Therefore, what's happening is the AI is effectively just feeding its information from other AI sources. And like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, it degrades with time. And we get a worse experience because the humans, the people that have cognitive thought, they have a strange way of approaching things, don't put that content online. They find other ways of putting that content out there, sharing it, and so on. Maybe that's through closed communities, whatever method that they decide to take, or they just completely remove it online totally. We will see a dumbing down of content because AI is just basically feeding AI. That, again, is a scary fact. But the thing for me is, what is the future of websites? Are we going to need them? Are we even going to bother creating them in a couple of years' time? Once you get to the point of where 90% of search on Google and YouTube are all being handled by AI summaries, what's the point in creating content? Are we going to see small little subsets of creators moving into closed communities, their own video sharing, all those kinds of more underground secular kinds of places where people meet up? Like you used to have forums back in the day where you'd have a group of people that were interested in a particular topic, be it photography, web design, motorbikes, cars, whatever it is. Are we going to see those closed communities becoming a thing? And therefore, the amount of content that goes online is considerably smaller, even get to the point of next to nothing. And we only see those kind of closed gated communities where people congregate virtually to share information, share stories, talk, and find out different things that are going on. I think we are going to see a big part of that over the next couple of years, because I do think that the AI search results are effectively going to kill the need for most people to have websites. We're going to still need entertainment. But again, is that going to change? Because if you use YouTube, obviously I've been a content creator for over 10 years, I'm seeing a massive impact upon not specifically videos you put out now, but evergreen content. Now, I used to go back about a year, 18 months, on average, I get like 500,000 hours of view time on my channel every week. That's a lot of view time. But obviously a lot of that would come from historic videos, evergreen content that I put out maybe last year or the year before, topics that are still important and useful, things like backing up your website, storing things locally so you can run WordPress locally, those kinds of evergreen kinds of content. You can definitely see a massive impact. And I've talked to other creators and they're seeing the same thing. My traffic is probably down around 70 to 80% month on month, and it is shrinking. And other content creators in this same niche and outside my niche are saying the same thing. They're seeing massive declines in their content. Sure, if you create content on AI and things that are right now, but are changing so fast, you can see quite a big impact in a positive way on the videos that are actually released. You're getting 20, 30, 40,000 views over a very short period of time. But they die off because that technology changes so quickly. We're seeing less evergreen content being found because AI search. That summary is answering the question based upon what's in the video. The fact that YouTube is pushing shorts and different kinds of content. No matter what you say about it, YouTube is not geared towards giving you what you actually want. I had to get a plugin inside my browser to get rid of the fact that once I do search, I get 3 different rows of shorts. I don't give a shit about shorts. I keep closing shorts down in YouTube. It keeps shoving them down my throat. Now, I'm finding that, for example, YouTube has amnesia. So I ask it a question. If I can get rid of those stupid shorts results, I might get 4 or 5 results on the topic that I've been looking for. Then I get another row of shorts, and then it goes off onto something completely different, something I have no interest in, because it's trying to guide me to what it wants me to watch. I'm not some kind of tin hat wearing conspiracy theorist. This is reality. This is the experience that I'm getting, and I'm sure if you use YouTube like I do, you are probably finding the same thing. And you're probably finding the same thing when it comes to search. You get the AI summary at the top. It's often not correct. I think the figures are either 80 or 90% of results are correct, which still leaves around 10% or 20% that's incorrect. But when you see the sheer number of actual searches every single day, and then 10% of that can go into hundreds of millions of incorrect answers, that is a frightening statistic and a frightening thought. When that takes over and we start to see the decline of people creating content and answering questions, are we going to see more of that when we start to see this enshittification of AI basically feeding AI until we get to the point where we get some diluted content at the end of it that is based upon inaccuracies and that just exponentially grows? Are we going to see things like that? I don't know. I'm just putting this kind of content out there and just talking about it. But this, like I said at the top of the video, this is one area that actually has me really concerned. And I don't really get concerned about things like this very often. But I do think we're going to see a massive, massive change in the internet over the next 12 to 18 months based upon what Google is actually releasing with their AI search. And I don't think it's going to be in a good way. And I think over the next 5 years, we are fundamentally going to see the decline of the internet as we know it, and also the decline of great quality, interesting content that people that want to share with other people put out there. I think we're going to see, if you kind of consider some of the more niche websites like Etsy and so on, where you've got small creators, small manufacturers and so on, creating very small quantities of items and sell them at high prices in a kind of craft fair kind of way, a little bit sort of craft niche kind of market. I think we're going to see things like that when it comes to the internet, but we're going to see the external effect being that we don't have access to those things. Everything is just homogenized and everything is just enshittified, I think is probably the best way of saying it. But as I said at the top of this video, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you think about AI search, the future of the internet, websites, all those kinds of things. Are you concerned if you're in this industry? Are you seeing a massive impact, either positive or negative? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's get this conversation going and let's see what everybody else is experiencing. If you found positives, please do share those, because I think they are just as important as anybody that has a negative take on this whole future that we're going to see over the next 12 to 24 months. As always, my name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.